Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. I want to show you around the garden today. I want to tie up my sugar snap peas and give you a few updates because a lot has happened out here. Our sugar snap peas were planted the first week in March. Just as soon as we thawed out and everything had melted after Winter Storm Fern, we got the peas in the ground. So that was really the first crop to go in. They've done really well this spring. We've been harvesting for many weeks now, but they're getting so tall and bushy, I'm a little worried the wind could knock them over. So that's why I want to tie them up today. The sugar snaps, by and large, have been growing on a trellis. We have a piece of fencing in here for them. And they do a pretty good job holding onto that so the wind doesn't blow them over. However, I have found that as they get really tall and a little leggy, some of the vines are not holding on to the fencing quite as well as they did or as the inner vines are. And as we start to get some thunderstorms this time of year, the vines have been known to actually get blown over, and once your vines blow over, sometimes they snap, and that can be pretty detrimental. The peas are still doing really well. We have tons to harvest, and I'm gonna say we probably have another 2 weeks of harvesting if I can protect these plants, and I think tying them up will be just the thing. As I get in here with my sugar snaps, up close and personal, I am seeing so many peas that I want to harvest these first and then tie the vines or the bush up. They really are quite bushy at this stage of the game. So let me go get a container really quick from the house and then we will officially tie the sugar snaps. As I work to harvest the peas on this half, I've just about finished up on this side and my container is getting pretty full. So that's fantastic. But I want to bring your attention to something. Do you see where my peas are beginning to yellow right here in this middle section? That's just telling me that the plants themselves are beginning to dry up. They're going to be spent here pretty soon. In Central Virginia, June, approaching middle of June like we are now, we're getting to be 89 to 96 degrees on the average day high. So that's a lot of high heat for these sugar snaps. So I know they're not going to last a ton longer, but because they're still thriving and looking pretty good, I want to tie them to see if I can't get another week or two out of them. But I do just want to mention that they are beginning to yellow, and I recognize that they're not going to be with me that much longer. I have successfully just finished harvesting a full container of sugar snaps. Now on to the primary task at hand. I have first started by tying my string towards the top of my T-post with a little bit of a slip knot. And now I am going to run my string on the outer part of my bush here, my sugar snaps, and then I will show you I'm going to wrap it around the far T-post and then wind my way back. You can see here I have wrapped it around my T-post, and now I'm going to begin to run it on the other side of my fence line on, again, the outermost portion of my sugar snaps. I brought my yarn through the opening of the fence line, and I'm going to begin to string my next line all the way back down. So I'm just going to zig and zag my way down from post to post, getting lower and lower with each time. As I wind my way down the vines, I want to make sure that if at all possible, my string helps catch any of those that are leaning outwards. So after I have done a few passes, I'm going to go ahead and cut my string with my clearly not very good scissors. I just want to show you here, I did wrap it a couple of times to secure it, maybe 3 times around. And once again, I've tied it with a slip knot. So when I come to take this twine or yarn down, I can just pull on the end, unwind it, and I will want to throw it away because I ended up using a synthetic yarn, and this will not break down as well as if I had used a little more natural of a garden twine. So just be mindful that if you use something such as this, you will not want to leave it laying around in your garden. I feel much better about my sugar snaps now that they have 1, 2, 3 rows of that yarn to help them stand up. If we get thunder showers tomorrow and the winds blow, I won't worry about them near as much as if I had not done this. Just one little trick to help your plants grow taller and stronger and be a little more robust this time of year. I hope you found it helpful. This is a little trick I started using a few years ago, and I thought I would share it. Now that I'm finished with the sugar snaps, I want to show you around the garden. There's a lot happening, a lot that's growing, a lot that's recently been planted, a few things that haven't done so well. So let me show you around now. I'll start off by showing you our squash and our zucchini. The zucchini are actually nearest to me here, and we have been harvesting both squash and zucchini for the last week, and you can see we have plenty more that are ready to be picked. I see there's a yellow squash hiding just next door. So these plants are doing really, really well as we approach the middle of June. Another crop that did really well this spring were the broccoli plants. We have already harvested all 6 primary heads, and we are continuing to harvest multiple crops of little teeny florets. So that has been a really wonderful thing this spring. These broccoli plants on the end, these were the ones that we started from seed ourselves. And I'm excited to say they do have little heads on them, which is fantastic. And then we have these small cabbage plants. They have also done so well. We have harvested thus far, it looks like 2 of the 6, and so we still have plenty more that are just about ready to be picked. I mean, that's a really nice looking head of cabbage there. It's a small head, but that was what it was intended to be. The cabbage plants that we started from seed ourselves are still a bit behind. The plant itself looks really good. They just haven't started to form heads. I think they will in time, but again, they are going at a much slower rate. The potatoes are doing their thing. They just need time. The collards look pretty fantastic. I have already harvested, I think, 2 if not 3 rounds. These are definitely ready to be picked, and I don't know if you can tell, but beside them we have a new crop because we have already finished harvesting the mystery crop. I thought it was kale, but when I cooked it, it seemed a little more like mustard greens. Anyways, those mystery greens have been finished and they've been pulled, and we have a new bed with a new crop next door. You might be wondering, what is that mystery crop next door? Well, these are green beans, our first round of green beans. They're going to be a bush bean. They're not Blue Lake. Normally I buy Blue Lake, but whatever I found at Tractor Supply, this is what they are. And they just went in maybe 2 days ago. So in the next week or 2, we should be seeing them pop up, and fingers crossed we get a good first batch of green beans. Directly beside the squash, we do have this one open bed. Not sure what to plant just yet. You can see where closest to me now, the shallots, the leeks, they look great. The tomatoes are doing really, really well, as are the eggplants and the peppers here. The peppers have just been weeded very thoroughly, and we're beginning to weed the okra, which sits just to the right of them. But I'm not sure if you can tell. There are garden plants that are green, and there's a lot of additional green. There's a ground cover of grass everywhere. My entire garden is covered in grass, and we are just beginning the process of weeding because it has been so dry and hot that the ground was just too hard. We had a really good shower this morning, a little more this afternoon, so in between showers off and on, we've been out here working at it. This will continue to be an ongoing process because, again, there is grass everywhere, but sometimes that's just part of gardening. There's one more thing I want to show you, and it's a bit disheartening out here in the garden. I want to show you our cucumbers, or the lack thereof. My husband tried starting them from seed indoors. They did not germinate and grow. I started them outdoors. They did not germinate and grow. So I think the seeds are just spent, and I'm going to show you something else that could have been part of the reason, but I think the primary culprit were just the fact that the seeds were so old. I've since bought new ones. I just have not put them in the ground yet, but let me show you the sad state that was meant to be our cucumber patch. This incredible green, hardy patch of grass that spans all along the base of this fence line was meant to be filled with cucumber plants. But as you can see, there is not a single cucumber plant that has popped up. There is only grass, grass, and more grass. I love to use old seeds. I hate to throw them away, and we give a lot of old seeds past their date by many years a good fighting chance. But when we strike out twice with old seeds, I think that is a time to go ahead, toss them, start fresh, and that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to even plant my next round of cucumbers in a different location. This one is so overgrown with grass. I'm going to plant my new cucumbers over here in this newly tilled area. So fingers crossed we finally get some luck and we have some cucumbers emerging before too long, because we don't want to get too far behind. We love cucumbers, we love pickles, but we have to get them to grow. Much like the cucumbers, the okra is just covered with grass, and truth be told, the grass is about as tall as the okra plants. And so I really want to weed quite thoroughly around them to give them the best chance, because once they jump up and reach a taller height and start to spread their leaves, they do a great job at just shading out the weeds, and then it's not such an issue. But right now the plants are still small, so let me show you, because I want to show you like a before area and then an after area, just to give you a sense of how much weeding we have ahead of us. And then I don't know if you can tell, those are the sweet potatoes down here. We have our T-posts in for the trellis that we'll soon be putting up so they can grow upwards instead of outwards. But again, it's more green because there's so much grass everywhere. So here is a look at the okra I was telling you. You can barely see the okra plants among all of the grass. And then we have the okra, which has been weeded. This is just the first rough weeding. It's not perfect, but at least you can see those clearly defined plants. They're a little closely planted, so I will want to thin them, but hopefully we'll get another shower or two in the next day or so, and the ground will be even softer for that. Here is one quick view of everything from the corner here. I'm very happy with how things are looking. We just have so much grass. I feel there's more grass this year than previous years. I'm not really sure what to attribute it to, but it's the year of the grassy garden. Here's a pathway that does not have cardboard on it yet. And like everything else, it is just green, 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 as far as the eye can see. We also have 3 jalapenos forming, as well as a nice collection of our little Santa Fe peppers. So these will be harvested soon, the first peppers of the season. Thank you so much for joining me here in the garden today. I hope you found tying up those sugar snaps helpful. I know it's really been a great thing for us since we started doing that. And the garden is doing so well for this time of year. There are crops that are just continuing to grow, like the potatoes. We've got some new crops that just went in, such as the green beans. And we have some other crops that have been in for time that have been overgrown with grass. So there's so much weeding to do. We still have cucumbers to get into the ground, a second round. So we'll keep you posted on that. Check back soon, and happy gardening. Bye guys.